always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. Jordan and Keith is Entertainment Tonight meets Access Hollywood.
I'm Jordan. The guy laughing, that's Keith.
Yeah, I'm Keith.
An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Hey everybody, Keith can't make it to this episode this week because he is going on a walk until he finds himself. So in the meantime, it is the Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast with just Jordan and special guest host, Jordan again. Okay, it's a little bit less impressive than I was going for, but you guys get the point. With Keith gone, it is going to be just me, and because it is just me, I am going to go ahead and open this show up with a story unlike any other. Actually, this is not true. This is going to be something that we were going to cover anyways. Now, you guys know that Netflix has kind of taken our lives by storm, right? I mean, it's in Netflix and chill. It's in so many other things. Netflix has become a household name, and it's just become part of our lives. I remember back whenever Netflix first came out, and I thought, why would you ever want to go to use Netflix to get mail, to mail your DVDs in? You can just go to your local Blockbuster. But now, 10 years, 12 years, whenever that happened later, I now realize that's just no longer the case. Now Netflix is just this thing that's invaded all of our homes, and it's there to stay, and it's the best way to watch a bad movie or a good movie, or spend 2 days straight binge watching a show that everyone's been trying to get you into for years. This is the perfect... what can you say? It's Netflix. But so now that I've pretty much laid down Netflix, anyone that hasn't heard of it, which we all have, we're going to step into some Netflix news. Now, Netflix news is not like any other news that we do on the show in the fact that it involves Netflix. So, now, Netflix news, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know, Black Mirror, the show that started out as a UK horror anthology series about technology going wrong, is now coming back for its 6 episodes, and it is starring a Game of Thrones actor, along with starring in one of the upcoming episodes, along with a slew of other amazing cast members. This is going to be huge. I loved Black Mirror. I've loved it since the beginning of this, and I'm so excited to see where it goes with Netflix and with double the amount of regular episodes. This is going to be intense, guys. This is going to be what we've spent our entire lives waiting for this moment, and here it is. So, Black Mirror is going to be returning pretty soon. This is what we've all been waiting for. It's going to be back on October 21st. So, it's so close. We're so close to being happy in our lives. Along with that, Chef's Table. It goes to France for its next season. It's going to premiere September 2nd. Right? Pretty impressive. The Ranch, starring Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson, the real big name behind those two. I guess if you're diehard Danny Masterson fans, that's also going to return for the second part of season 1 on October 7th. So a lot of stuff's brewing. Easy. It's an anthology series directed by Joe Swanberg, and it's going to explore diverse Chicago characters as they fumble through the modern maze of love, technology, sex, and culture. That's the tagline for it. I mean, if you guys can't tell, that's not me doing the paid advertisement. That's going to feature Orlando Bloom, and that is Macklin Ackerman. That's coming out on September 22nd. We also have a few other shows to talk about. One Day at a Time, it reimagines Norman Lear's classic sitcom. Everybody remembers One Day at a Time. And it's centering on a Cuban-American family. That's coming out January 6th. And we have which everyone's very excited for, revival for the Gilmore Girls, A Year in the Life. That's coming out November 25th. So, and there's other shows too. It's going to be just pretty much just a scatter of amazing shows coming out to Netflix in the second part of this year. I can't wait. I'm so excited to see at least half of these shows. I'm even going to give Gilmore Girls a chance. I'm going to check out Gilmore Girls, and I'm going to keep an open mind because you never know. So with all that, I have one more thing to drop in Netflix news, and that is Arrested Development. They are ready to go on season 5, they announced, and soon they're going to start filming it. Now, If anyone's seen Arrested Development, they're incredibly excited for this. And people that haven't seen Arrested Development have a loved one that's seen Arrested Development, and they're like excited that they're excited because people are good people, and we feel good when other people feel good. So Arrested Development is going to be filming soon, and we will have season 5 along with Black Mirror, Gilmore Girls, and pretty much anything that you want in life. Netflix has got it. Along with that, Making a Murderer is approved for season 2, which is coming out. And, oh man, there's just so many great shows and movies. And because of that, I'm going to go ahead and break into Comic-Con. Now, Comic-Con is, once again, if you haven't heard of Netflix and you haven't heard of Comic-Con, you weren't born here. You just came here through a time machine, and you're listening to this through a weird thing that we call speakers, and you're thinking, what is anything that's happening right now? Now, since Comic-Con just came out, and it was just, we just said and done with it, a lot of things got announced. A lot of things through Marvel, a lot of things through DC, just a lot of things that we're going to get excited about. So for the next 2 episodes, we're going to be sprinkling some Comic-Con news throughout the shows, and including the trailers that were announced, just anything that was announced through Comic-Con. I regretfully wasn't able to go there. Much like millions and millions of other people, I'm so sorry it's been this many. A lot of people couldn't go to Comic-Con, and they couldn't see exclusive stuff and have free goodie bag full of interesting, posters. I want whatever they'd give me at Comic-Con. But for those of us that didn't, there were a lot of people that did, and we were able to figure out what was really happening there. One thing that we figured out was really happening there is the fact that there is going to be a new movie called Split, and the trailer just got released. And you're thinking, what is Split? Does that involve like a superhero or something? Like a man who's able to split into halves? Quit guessing, I'm about to tell you. Split has James McAvoy, and James McAvoy, already a fantastic actor. I've got your attention with the name McAvoy. He has 23 different personalities. And he has a basement, and it's got prisoners in it. So basically, James McAvoy as a psychopath, he's playing 23 different parts. So James McAvoy as a master actor, that is going to be coming out. It's an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Shyamalan. Of course, I think I said it right the first time, but I'm always nervous about saying that name right. This is going to be directed by him. His last movie that I saw, I think it was The Visit, with the kids going to visit Grandma. I really enjoyed that movie. I think that he's had some misses, but I'm really excited because this seems like a winning combination so far. I'm really hoping that this doesn't turn out to disappoint because I've got a good feeling about it. And this is actually one of the things in Comic-Con that gained a lot of heat, more heat than your average thing that doesn't involve a superhero or something that's already iconic through comic books. So this is going to be something that's completely original. It got all that heat we keep talking about, and I think it's going to be something worth checking out. So we're going to be looking for a release date for this movie soon. And until the meantime, we can just keep watching the trailer over and over and over again and trying to guess what personalities James McAvoy might make. 23, I don't even know if they're going to play all those. It seems like they're just going to say 23. They're not going to do them all. So maybe there's a personality that we don't know about that's going to be in a sequel, and that one's going to be really fun. I'm hoping that one of them's like a superhero. I'm also hoping one of them is like James McAvoy in a very lame meta joke where he comes out and he's like, I'm James McAvoy, what's going on? I think everyone's going to groan at that, and that's also going to be the best part of the movie. Kind of like a Deadpool, like you're breaking your fourth wall with Deadpool Ryan Reynolds showing a picture and talking about Ryan Reynolds. It's going to be perfect if it actually happened, which I seriously doubt it. Still last-minute script changes. They might see this and have an idea. Along with that, we are going to talk about Kristen Stewart, who is open about talking about her new girlfriend more than she ever was with any other relationship she's been in, and she seems incredibly happy. So if we can just all applaud, unless you're driving while listening to this, keep both hands on the wheel, or just one so you look cooler. All right, disclaimer, I never said that. That's completely, you guys put both hands on the wheel. Wink. So Kristen Stewart has her new girlfriend, Alicia Cargile, and they are very in love. Now, Miss Alicia used to be her assistant, and they used to date off and on, but I think she's announced that this one feels really right, this one feels good, and they seem to be happy together. She's very open about it. I've never seen Kristen Stewart so happy and so candid. She's just talking about everything. It seems like a lovely conversation. But she says that she didn't want to keep it in, although she's usually not public about this stuff. She didn't want to get the impression that this was something that she wasn't that she was feeling, ashamed of, which is not the case whatsoever. So she announced that, hey, this is somebody that I very much love, and I look happier than I've ever been. So kudos to you, Kristen Stewart and Alicia Cargile. Glad you guys found love. In the meantime, I just found some commercials that we have to watch, listen to, whatever you guys prefer. And then when we come back, we're going to keep talking about things because that's normally what we do. So I'll see you soon. In the words of Keith, commercials, love them.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast. It's so good to have you here. I can feel the love, or at least I hope you can feel my love. As long as somebody feels love, this podcast was worth it. So, anyways, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, or at least I do, and you have a lot of stuff to listen to. Now, once again, Comic-Con happened. It was kind of a big deal. Some people remember it. Some people care about it. Who knows? You may have heard of it, but if you haven't, there's still things that come out of it that you have heard of. Like Spider-Man Homecoming, there is footage that is revealed the next villain for the movie. Isn't that super exciting? So they showed some footage at Comic-Con for the upcoming movie. It's going to be focused on, really... I think the last Spider-Man movies like to make Peter Parker the super handsome college co-ed kind of looking guy, and we've talked about these different Spider-Mans. Now this Spider-Man is going to be a 15-year-old boy for all intents and purposes. So this is a big deal. I'm excited. Finally, a Spider-Man that I don't know. He's kind of like Justin Bieber, where he's super popular and he's super successful. He's got superhero powers, and he got them at such a young age that it's going to be so hard to compete at. I don't like the fact that Spider-Man's younger in that case, but we have announced that the villain is going to be the Vulture, which for people that don't follow the comic books, it's a guy named Vulture. So that's always interesting. But for people that do follow the comic books, and there's a huge difference to this Spider-Man is going to be a little bit younger, have a cooler guy, and Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton. Michael Keegan is the name of my imaginary superhero for my fan fiction I'm making about Michael Keaton's life. Michael Keaton is going to be playing the Vulture. So for those of you that liked Birdman and were obsessed with Birdman and thought Michael Keaton can't do wrong, from whether it's Beetlejuice or once again Birdman, he's coming back. Keaton's back, and he's once again playing a superhero. So everyone, let's be excited about that, or at least enthusiastic. I'm so enthusiastic. I love Michael Keaton. I think he might be the coolest guy in the world, at least top 5. God, just Michael Keaton. He can do no wrong unless he does wrong, and then I'm sorry I made that assumption. Clearly, he's a complicated man. But I could talk about Keaton all day, and I'm tempted to talk about Keaton all day. You guys are just going to have to wait for my Keaton-themed conversations in my new Michael Keaton-themed podcast. That's coming soon. That's in the woodworks. For now, I'm going to talk to you guys about something that's equally as amazing as Michael Keaton. It's Disney's California Adventure Park. You guys may know Disney from everything that's ever been released in movies, everything that's worthwhile about a theme park. They have both of these things. They put them together. Some would call it magical, like a magical Disneyland. Who knows? But they are closing down the Twilight attraction that everyone's been enjoying for years, the Twilight Zone-themed drop, to make room for the Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, I'm someone that really loves Twilight Zone, so this feels kind of tough. I mean, who didn't go to sleep watching that 1960s black and white horror anthology at night? It really did. It's a natural sedative. It helps. But Guardians of the Galaxy, some would say the Twilight Zone of the 21st century, what with its not black and white and its Chris Pratt and its sci-fi extravaganza, fun, funny, action-packed thrill ride for the whole family. And it can now be a thrill ride for the whole family. So this is something that I can't be more excited about. I have people that are just knocking on my door every day saying, have you heard about the new thing that Disney's doing? I can't wait to go. You're officially invited. I would pay for your ticket. And that scenario has a lot longer answer, and we'll get into that one once again in the Michael Keaton podcast. But this is still something that I think I cannot wait for. Now, the ride is said to drop guests directly into the story alongside characters from the comic books and the blockbuster films. And along with that, this is going to be the first of many Marvel-themed rides for Disney World. So this is going to be so cool. Not only do we get to ride things that are shaped like a mouse, we now get to ride things that are shaped like a talking tree. I can't wait. Can you wait? I've said it before. I've said it probably 5 times before. I cannot wait. So there, we've got that going for us. We've got that to be excited about. But we also have more news than that, like Brie Larson, who we all love. You may recognize Brie Larson as being the actress who embodies Brie Larson. Now, she has just been announced, once again through Comic-Con, we've got so much Comic-Con news here, that Brie Larson is going to be the new Captain Marvel of the new Marvel franchise. How cool is that, guys? Now, this is going to be the first, it's going to be one of the first female, only roles for Marvel. And on top of that, she's going to be a superhero. She's going to be Superman, but hopefully less perfect, because Superman, a little too perfect. Yeah, a little too perfect. Brie Larson, I think she's going to kill the role. She was warned by several people, Ben Affleck and, more stars, who said, you might be careful receiving backlash, because as soon as an actor or actress is announced to play a character, everybody tends to hate him very quickly. It's a tough gig to be able to land, because people do not take picks for acting picks for superheroes very lightly. But I think everyone nearly unanimously thinks that Brie Larson's going to be a great choice. Maybe not the best choice for some people. For me, I think it's the best choice. I think Brie Larson's going to be everything that we need in a superhero. She's already a superhero. Have you seen the role she's in? She's incredible. So there, we found somebody that we won't hate to be something in a superhero film. It took us a long time, but we did it. So we can all be happy about that, and we can also be happy about another thing. Now, those of you who have a crush on Corbin Bleu are thinking, please don't tell me that he actually got married. I may have already heard this, but if I'm just hearing it now, please don't. I can't handle that. I really like Corbin Bleu. Well, I'm sorry, people, but I wasn't lying earlier. He definitely did get married. He married Sasha Clemens, and apparently it was beautiful. Yeah. Mr. 27-year-old married a 26-year-old. A little risky for some people, I guess. But he said it was marrying her was one of the best moments of his life, which is really sweet. I think it really goes to say how much we really like Corbin Bleu as a person, at least for now. Yeah, I like Corbin Bleu a lot. And they had a dance, a salsa dance, that was choreographed by Corbin Bleu's Dancing with the Stars partner, Karina Smirnoff. Smirnoff is in the alcohol, but not in this case because this is a person who is not alcohol. So he said it was the most perfect day. It looks sweet. It looks like everything went right. I think that I'm just incredibly happy for them. Yeah, I think I am incredibly happy for them. And, we all should be. So don't be too happy, though, or be more happy. The next thing I'm going to talk to you guys about is the new Blair Witch Project movie. In Blair Witch Project, it has this whole thing where, Blair Witch Project is very, it's polarizing. You either really hate it or you really like it. But it had this fascination back when it came out in 1999 that everybody just wanted to see what the big deal was. It took everybody by storm. And hopefully this new sequel is going to be doing just that as well. It was released during Comic-Con, and this came out, and it's I think this is going to be it's going to be good. It's going to come out in September, and it's going to hit theaters, and we're going to see what the big deal is. It kind of came out of nowhere. I had no idea the Blair Witch was getting a sequel, and now it's coming out already. But I've got a good feeling about it. And by that, I mean I've got a very unsure feeling about it. I'm not sure how to proceed. I hope it turns out good. I feel about having a sequel the way I feel about the first one after watching it, which is very unsure about everything. But I think that's the perfect way to cut to a commercial break. So when we get back, we are going to wrap up this show, and I will see you guys very soon.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA, from the UFC to extreme cage fighting. They got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the GSMC Entertainment Podcast. Now we've just talked about Blair Witch Project, Spider-Man, Corbin Bleu. I think we've been all over the map with stuff, and we've got a few more things to discuss before we wrap things up completely. Like the fact that coming soon there is going to be a Prison Break reboot. There's going to be a revival of it. It's coming back. You guys remember Prison Break, right? I mean, that was that show that was on Fox, and spoiler alert, it was about people breaking out of prison. But they're bringing it back, and it's going to be apparently even more action-packed. It's going to be even more exciting. It's going to be everything that the other one was, but more. And I think it's going to be interesting. I'm excited to check it out, and I and everyone else will be able to check it out when it comes to Fox in 2017. They thanked Netflix for being able to get this reboot going, this revival. Sorry, revival is the right word. For the fact that they were able to keep Prison Break online on Netflix and build up the fan base through there. I know a lot of people that haven't seen the show until it got on Netflix. And I guess that's the case with a lot of shows that are out right now. So that's going to be fun to check out. We're all going to have fun. I'm not going to promise that, but I'm going to hope. I'm going to hope for all of our sakes. Until then, though, while we're waiting for the Prison Break to come on, we'll have another thing to keep us busy. It's not necessarily like a TV show per se, in the sense that it's not a TV show in the sense that it doesn't come on TV, and it involves cards. It's the new Oregon Trail card game. So you guys remember Oregon Trail, right? Dying of dysentery, probably one of the kids doesn't make it, hunting for food. It was that old computer game, you know? We all couldn't get enough of it. It was back in the 80s or the 90s, whichever your preference is. Now they've remade it, and they've turned it into a card game. And this isn't going to be just like any card game. No, this card game's going to be a little more special because it has more to do with the Oregon Trail. Yes, in this card game, I'm guessing you can make someone die of dysentery. Probably. And it's going to have things along those lines. So it's going to be an adventure. Finally, there's a way to give your friends dysentery without any legal repercussions. I should really get paid for this. I think I'm basically doing an ad for a card game. But yeah, all of you nostalgia lovers, we'll come up with a term later. Get ready, because it's a coming. And speaking of nostalgia, do you guys remember Chappelle's Show? Of course you remember Chappelle's Show. If you remember Oregon Trail, even though these things aren't connected, not by time or genre, or, pretty much anything, you remember Chappelle's Show. Now, one of the big things that really stuck with me during Chappelle's Show was the Charlie Murphy stories. Whenever Charlie was particularly, there were two stories where he talked about, one with Prince and, one with Rick James. Now, the Rick James story was something that I laughed about for probably years consecutively, like just laughing for an entire year. Next year came still laughing. There was an announcement where they did an interview, and they revealed that the Prince segment was entirely true. They vouched for it. Mickey Free says that the Chappelle Show, sketch, entirely accurate. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with the sketch, it involves Prince saying, while they're all dressed up in their gym clothes, Charlie Murphy and his brother, Prince and his friends say, hey, it's gonna be blouses, versus shirts. So then, with Prince in 6-inch heels, kept his clubbing clothes on, blouse and 6-inch heels, he played basketball like, and Mickey Freeman quotes, like Stephen Curry, where he was just on fire the entire night, just obliterated them. So that was a story that I think me and a lot of other people there, that was something that always seemed too good to be true. Because if you're thinking of Prince, of course, if he's playing a sport, he's doing it in 6-inch heels. And yes, that seems impractical. And if you like Prince, like I do, and a lot of people do, of course Prince could have just annihilated somebody in basketball with heels on. I mean, that's just how Prince goes. I mean, that's his thing. So, I mean, today, my day and my yesterday when I heard that, they've been better. They've been better. Everything's been better because of this. Everything feels good because that once whenever you hear a story and you just want it to be true so bad, like alligators in the sewer, where that's probably not true, but just God, what if it was? That would just do me right completely. This is one of those stories where I just feel better knowing. So thank you, Prince, for just once again, even now, making my day. In other news, we have another story that's coming up. Now, this is a story that I've been really excited to talk about. I think on a scale of 1 to 10, solid 5. I'm so excited. I've been wanting to tell you this, guys, for a 5. Batman's The Killing Joke. Now, it was released for a single theatrical release originally on Monday, and everybody was excited, and they actually ended up making $3 million on their first night. So it went so successfully. I mean, it made more than Star Trek and a number of any other given movies that night, just from the box office, that they decided to bring it back for one more night, and it finished off with $3.8 million, which is a big deal for an R-rated animated movie. Now, while it did get a lot of mixed reception from Comic-Con, once again, another Comic-Con story. How lucky are we, guys? We have so much Comic-Con to look at. That did not seem to affect its sales in the box office. Now, that brings us to another story when it comes to Batman, The Killing Joke. There has been a lot of controversy about it, that the movie kind of comes off as sexist. How does Batman come off as sexist, you ask, for some reason? I mean, I don't know why. Well, in the movie, the Joker kidnaps Detective Jim Gordon's daughter, also, coincidentally, is Batgirl. Along with that, he catches her, paralyzes her, then takes off her clothes to take pictures. Now, this happened in the original comic book. Everybody knew what they were getting into. But in the comic book, that was different from the adaptation, Batman didn't sleep with Batgirl, which is something that he did here. And because of that choice, that kind of had an extra motivation where they made Batgirl come off as this damsel in distress, kind of whiny, lovesick. It just kind of made her come off as very pathetic. I think that'd be a good way to describe it. And I don't know if anybody's keeping up, but making women look very helpless in a movie, it's kind of something that we're getting over slowly, I think. So maybe they just missed the boat. If they released this back in the 70s, it would have been a different story. Also, on top of that, it's one thing to change the comic book a little bit, which, as we know historically from every movie and anything that's come out, people really hate it when you change things up on a comic book. It is the worst thing you can do to people that love comics when you're making a movie. But on top of that, it seems like a decision that already wouldn't have been popular if it was in the comic book. But, all said and done, the movie made it made a good bit of money, and despite the mixed reviews, a lot of people still did really enjoy the film, so there is that. But in other news, we have something that has nothing to do with Batman, or maybe if it did, I'd have no idea. This involves Calvin Harris and Kanye West. Now, there was a lot of talk during the weekend about Kanye West and Calvin Harris kind of collaborating, getting in the studio to talk. But now there was, like I said, the rumors with Calvin Harris and Kanye West. And a lot of people thought that they were going to join up in the studio. But Calvin Harris wanted to very much clarify that no, they are not joining up in the studio. He does not want that kind of drama right now. And at least, and talking about doing it in the future, maybe down the road, but right now he just wants to kind of kill that whole him being involved with Taylor Swift thing connection, because he's very much over the drama of everything happening right now. And frankly, I can't blame him. I mean, as I'm doing this show, we've been talking about Calvin Harris, Taylor Swift, Kanye West a lot lately. So I think this is a smart move to make, especially if you're trying to stay out of this weird spotlight, and I hope it works out for him. But a Calvin Harris and Kanye West song collaborating, I think that would turn out really well. I would really love to hear that. I think that that's something that would at least be really interesting. So how about everybody, we just get over the Taylor Swift thing and we just let them do their thing and make music. That's my one vote. If you guys rather the whole Taylor Swift thing, I can see that too. I'm not going to get mad at you for that. But sadly, with all that, this is our time to go. Yeah, I know it. It happened so quickly. Or, it happened in 30 minutes time. Either way. But I had a lot of fun today. This has been a really great time, like a water slide or something. And if you guys like this, you can check us out at gsmcpodcast.com, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. So with all that said, until next time, I will see you guys later on, probably out in space. Yeah, probably.